No way, Jose.
The following footage proves beyond any doubt that the tanks intentionally set the house on fire. It proves that the Branch Davidians were murdered. You can see that this tank has a gas jet on the front that shoots fire. You can also see the fire quite plainly. The tank goes into the house twice, and each time as it backs out, the fire at the gas jets is plainly visible.
We must all do more to recognize and look for the early warning signals that deeply troubled young people send.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me well? Something's odd, I felt like, on the audio side of things I was noticing. So let me know if I'm sounding good, all that. Something was just off on my side. So, but I guess while we wait to make sure the audio's working, let me see. I'm fine. Okay, cool. There's something weird. I still think there might be ironing out their kinks. There's something weird between the interface between what I saw and heard. And, all right, anyways. I know, I'm no longer trusting StreamYard since it started doing that goofy fucking, that goofy, weird, not showing you guys stuff. But all right, cool. You guys said it sounds good, so we're good. Sounds all right, cool. I was just, anytime anything's even the slightest bit out of place, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck's going on here? Speaking of which, my hair was looking dope a second ago. I don't know what the fuck it just happened. It just decided to fall apart. But all right, let's, I guess while we wait for some of y'all to roll in, I do want to take a second to remind you guys that today's episode is brought to you by Nadeau Shave Co. If you're tired of that razor burn, irritation, those ingrown hairs that come from those multi-big cartridges, then this is the way to go. Let me tell you about it. Let me just kind of run through it real quick. I mean, it's a better shaving project altogether. You get the one blade that's giving you a closer shave. It gives you, baby smooth. It's kind of like barber, grade shave for real. And then it's, and then it's also better for your skin. So instead of cutting up your skin with 4 blades or however many at a time, you're only doing 1. It's a lot better for your skin. So that it's also a lot cheaper. Then it's from a company that doesn't hate your cuts. This is a company that was born out of refusing the COVID mandate. So that's how you know it's good. And it supports the show. So, you can kind of assume it falls in line with your values. And on top of all of that, you can use Jose at checkout for 10% off. But with that, let's go ahead and get into it. Let's check in with you guys have to say in the chat. Someone's talking about, Jose, could you beat up every Tower Gang member at once, or every member one-on-one? Oh, for some reason I read that too quick and thought at once, and I was like, no, I'm not that arrogant. Every member one-on-one? Yes. Cole would probably be the only one I'm really too worried. Well, Cole and Top, honestly. Top's probably, I think, got hands. So, I could overpower him, but he'd fucking pepper me with some spray, with some hits. So, but, yeah, hair looks great. Thanks. Cole would be rough. He'd be easy to trick. Just shake your... Yeah, I feel like Cole would be like the most physical threat, like the most imposing, whereas Top would be the most like a technical threat. So that would be the way to do it. Like if you could put Top in Cole's body, I'd be fucked. That's that. But I think I might be able to prevail over the two of them. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think it could. Good question. A little silly. We're talking about this here. Top has hands, baby hands. I knew F-Web said I knew a bunch of Mexicans that look exactly like you. I'm from New Mexico with old Spanish land grant families. Well, hate to break it to you, buddy, but that's completely a made up name. I am not Mexican. I'm white as fuck. Although I don't know, maybe I am Hispanic, but yeah, it's a made up name. One of these days I'll give you guys my real name. Like, who cares? I'm already at the point like, who cares? But I don't know why. I mean, like, why give you guys my name? I don't know. Why would I want you guys bothering my family? So, I don't know. I trust you guys. It's all the other fucking weirdos out there. But yeah, with that, guys, I guess let's go ahead and get into some actual content today. Here, let me go ahead and get into the first. Is Galisson a French name? Galisson's a made-up name. That's what that is. It's made up. It's all made up, dude. Jose G is a great state's name. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. Which it wasn't even like I made up this name for podcasting. I literally made it up for a alt, like a Facebook alt, back in the day, because my Facebook kept getting in trouble back in the day, like when they were really censoring Facebook. So I ended up making another one, and I just called it Jose Galisson, just thinking it was funny, like making myself a Mexican. And yeah, that's what I ran with. Whenever I made a podcast later, I was like, oh, whatever, we'll just go with my Facebook alt. That works. Kind of like can easily brand off that anyways, because it was a lot of like memes and stuff. So, but yeah, let's get into actually some content. Here's the first story of the day, which isn't even really a story. This is from the New York Post. Death-defying neuroscientist turned OnlyFans model confronts life with memory loss after brutal bike accident caused by a pigeon. I only bring this up to let you guys know that I'm pretty sure the New York Post is making up fucking articles at this point. They're just mad-libbing this shit. That's where they're at with this. That was the only purpose of bringing up this, and just to give you guys an LOL. Josie Gallison is the coolest name ever, someone says. I guess. All right, let's go ahead and get into an actual story. I was just goofing with you guys. Let's get I think probably the best way to lead this story up would be what's this broad's name? The press secretary? I don't even know what her name is. Carolyn Leavitt, which she's like almost cute except for her alien nose. But let's hear what she has to say, and this will kind of perfectly lead us into our first story, our first real story of the day that wasn't a silly goof. So let's go and play this. 1 second, I did it again. I'm retarded. Give me a second. This is my fault this time. I didn't bring up the fucking thing. My bad. All right, here you go. Now, you guys see this, right? Okay, I can't blame StreamYard that time. That was my fault. I was being a retard. I didn't have the window up. Let's go ahead and do that. Guys, let me know. You make sure you actually see it first off. Let's go ahead and play this. Let's start over again. I'm sorry for that. That was embarrassing. Let's go ahead and go.
Under the Immigration and Nationality Act, the Secretary of State has the right to revoke a green card or a visa for individuals who serve or are adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interests of the United States of America. And Mahmoud Khalil was an individual who was given the privilege of coming to this country to study at one of our nation's finest universities and colleges. And he took advantage of that opportunity, of that privilege, by siding with terrorists, Hamas terrorists who have killed innocent men, women, and children. This is an individual who organized group protests that not only disrupted college campus classes and harassed Jewish American students and made them feel unsafe on their own college campus, but also distributed pro-Hamas propaganda, flyers with the logo of Hamas. That is what the behavior and activity that this individual engaged in. And I have those flyers on my desk. They were provided to me by the Department of Homeland Security. I thought about bringing them into this briefing room to share with all of you, but I didn't think it was worth the dignity of this room to bring that pro-Hamas propaganda.
Oh, come on. That's fucking gay. That's gay. That's pearl clutching. Oh, I would bring this in here, but I don't want to besmirch the good nature of this office. That's fucking stupid. No, show us what we want to see. So that, because you're literally talking about infringing on likely. I mean, it really depends on how you debate it. Like how you look at it. Whether you want to say it's a First Amendment thing, but even if it's not a First Amendment thing, it's like, I don't know. Can we at least admit this is kind of getting a little petty? Like, I don't know. Are we really? I don't know, the sliding scale between siding with terrorists or being against Israel killing Palestinians. I don't know. I mean, and I'm also having to trust a administration of Zionists to determine who is doing what. I'm sorry if I come off across a little skeptical. Let's finish this.
Propaganda. But that's what this individual distributed on the campus of Columbia University. And this administration is not going to tolerate individuals having the privilege of studying in our country and then siding with pro-terrorist organizations that have killed Americans. We have a zero tolerance policy for siding with terrorists, period. Under the
All right, yeah, it's that. I figured I'd share what she had to say about that. I'm not really too much of a fan. Let's roll through what you guys have to say. Let me see. Is her husband really 60 years old? If that's so, holy shit. Made it to another live, says 2 Zionists, 1 cup. What is up? What it do? Jose Galisolin is a pseudonym. Well, he's a gay Jew then. I am not a gay Jew. Don't you fucking dare. I am a very straight Jew. I'm just kidding. I'm not Jewish. Making feel unsafe, like hating whites or hating men. I'm okay with this as long as it's only being used to deport foreign browns. Well, that's where they get you, dude. And I don't know. I mean, I get, in a certain sense, I get what you're saying, because it's like, I don't know, I'm not too worried about it, because it's like, yeah, you're not, but it's also just like super petty. Like, if you're in a situation where you're like, oh, we're fucking, you have this kind of, like, we're allowing people to immigrate, and this is part of the this system. It's like, hey, you come over for a student visa or a green card or whatever, and it's then we just go, oh, you have an untoward position. You hold what is it? A wrong think in relation to it's in odds with our establishment's think. Like, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that, really. Like, I get it in a sense. There is, to some extent, I understand the concept of like, hey, dude, you're in a foreign country, chill the fuck out. Maybe don't be doing stuff and doing that sort of shit. But I don't know, with this situation too, with this guy, it wasn't that he had a green card, not just a visa. So like, he was, I want to say he sounds, from my understanding, almost sounds like maybe he was working towards citizenship. He has a wife. And, she's 8 months pregnant with, I would presume, his child. So, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like a shitty thing to do. I get, to some extent, I understand the instinct, because it's like, I know you almost think of them as like, oh, they're only over here for school or whatever. But even then, that just seems like a shitty way to treat people. I don't know. It really depends. I could understand if this was an actual fucking crime. Like, that's the thing. This isn't a crime. There's no crime going on here. This is just, the administration determined that people in this dubious legal distinction of immigrants were going to essentially enforce to where you can't voice wrongthink. That's basically all this is. So I don't know. I find it a bit creepy, personally. She would bring the flyers in, but they're on her desk buried under the Epstein pedophiles that she refused to move. Exactly. Let me see. What's up, Jose? Says King David. What is up? How are you? The problem is that it's obviously the behest of Zionist flexing. Exactly. And I just also think there is something to that once you start sliding this scale to where you're like, oh, we're doing this for immigrants. It's like, I don't know, when do you start doing something similar because they're kind of already able to paint the protest in a broad shade of like, essentially there's almost like this implication of illegality by this now, and then like once they start carrying on with this, and now you get to where I don't know, they find other ways, and then now people that are stateside, they find a way to, I don't know, and like I do think a lot of this stuff is going to get probably thrown out in the courts later, but I'm not a fan of this idea of like, let's do flagrantly like unconstitutional shit or just really just shitty shit, and then knowing it's almost certainly going to get thrown out later, and then lo and behold, it gets thrown out later, and then it's like, oh, no big deal, whatever. Like, no, I think there should be legal repercussions for you, like, essentially flagrantly not doing your job, essentially. Like, I don't know, it's frustrating, particularly, like, between, like, this situation, and then you look at, like, the situation I brought up before, for example, with the, what was it, OSHA, the OSHA work requirements, where they're going to make it for like any businesses above a certain size or whatever. So, Dr. is saying he did commit a crime. Well, did he though? I don't know about that. We're about to go now into the article. I remember listening to this morning. I don't think there was an actual crime that I'm aware of. I think it's even admitted. We'll get into that. I mean, I'm open to being corrected. So if you see anything in there that, in the way of actually committing crime, then like, sure. But yeah. See, I got sidetracked. I was talking about the 100 employees saying corn pop. I got sidetracked. I was using that as an example of, doing things flagrantly unconstitutional and then later going, oh, just kidding. Oh, no big whoop. Oh, well, we'll carry on. No harm, no foul. And you're like, but what the fuck? That could have like gone through on a fluke. Like, you guys aren't magical. You don't catch everything. I mean, if anything, a lot of times you fuck us over. So, all right. Anyways, let's get into this one. But yeah, obviously, Doctor, if you do know something more than I do, let me know. Trump admin is trying to deport Mahmoud Khalil for speech that's contrary to U.S. foreign policy. This is from Dave DeCamp. The Trump administration is trying to deport 30-year-old Mahmoud Khalil, a green card holder who was arrested by ICE agents over the weekend for activity that is contrary to U.S. foreign policy based on his involvement in protests critical of Israel's war on Gaza at Columbia University. A White House official told the Free Press that Khalil's activity was a threat to the foreign policy and national security interests of the United States. The allegation here is not that he was breaking the law, the official told the Free Press. He was mobilizing support for Hamas and spreading anti-Semitism in a way that is contrary to the foreign policy of the U.S. So, I mean, that's the White House. That's the straight up from the White House. That's their envoy. That's their dude. So I don't know. U.S. officials have labeled pro-Palestine protests anti-Semitic, even though many Jewish students participated and helped organize the demonstrations. The White House officials said the basis for targeting Khalil is being used as a blueprint to target other foreign students either on visas or green cards, and more arrests at other schools are expected. I suspect we'll have other schools roped into this, the official said. At a White House press conference on Tuesday, Press Secretary Karen Leavitt claimed Secretary of State Marco Rubio has the right to revoke the visa or green card of individuals who are adversarial to the foreign policy and national security interests under the Immigration and Nationality Act of 1952. Now, I don't know about you guys, but that's not necessarily a legal right I'm quite comfortable granting to Marco Rubio. All right, let's keep going. Mahmoud Khalil was an individual who was given the privilege of coming to this country to study at one of our nation's finest universities and colleges, Leavitt said, and he took advantage of the opportunity and the privilege by siding with terrorists, which sounds just like fucking 9/11 nonsense. Leavitt also claimed that Khalil was involved in distributing pro-Hamas propaganda flyers, but didn't offer any evidence to back up the assertion. The Foundation for Individual Rights and Expression, FIRE, responded to Leavitt's comments and said the law she appeared to be citing requires the Secretary of State to have reasonable ground to believe the person's presence or activities in the United States would have potentially serious adverse foreign policy consequences for the United States. FIRE noted that in explaining how Khalil met the standard for deportation under the law, the administration did not allege Khalil committed a crime, but did explicitly cite the content of his speech. FIRE said that protesting government policy is protected by the First Amendment, as is rhetorical support for a terrorist group. Khalil was born in Syria, has Algerian citizenship, and is of Palestinian descent. He is married to an American citizen who is 8 months pregnant. Khalil was arrested at his Columbia University-owned apartment in New York City over the weekend by ICE agents and was taken to detention facility in Louisiana. So, I mean, like even just from like I know, like, oh, cool, haha, get Browns out of here. But it's like, this is a dude who came over here under the agreement, some sort of agreement of, somehow it's like, hey, this is legit, right? Yeah, like, okay, cool, I come over here, I do this school, blah, blah, blah. And he came over to school, and he clearly found someone he loves, whatever. Is literally having a child with them. Looks like he's settling down, probably moving his affairs over here more so. And then just on a lark, because he, dared to speak out against the country of Israel, they fucking take him and, send him to fucking Louisiana, in a detention facility in Louisiana, while his 8-month pregnant wife is elsewhere. I'm sure his whole life disrupted. And when this probably goes through, just maybe, he may be lucky enough to be able to get some sort of restitution for his time and, wages lost. But maybe even not that. And it's just the idea that it's just a shitty way to be to people. I understand if it's like someone committing actual crimes and you're like, hey, this is someone that's like, they shouldn't be in this country anyways. But this is someone who went through some sort of ordeal to, go the official route through coming through this place. And we go, oh, get out, Brownie. I mean, it's just a shitty way to be, really. It's just not like, even if you want to go, oh, well, they're not protected by the Constitution, which I don't know. Okay, this seems like a gay way to look at the Constitution. For one, the Constitution is supposed to enshrine the concept of natural rights, is ideally, and those are supposed to be irregardless of fucking, of a country or origin or anything along those lines. So, but even then, even if we say it's just still shitty. And you're like, okay, so you're just claiming, well, this is technically okay by our rules. We're just being really, really shitty. Okay, because of Israel. Because we don't want to upset Israel. So we're going to be shitty to brown people. Okay. For now, a federal judge is preventing Khalil from being deported to preserve the court's jurisdiction pending a ruling on the petition. Petitioner shall not be removed from the United States until the court orders otherwise. Judge Jesse Furman of the Southern District in New York said in a court order in response to a petition filed by Khalil. So yeah, he's waiting. I have a feeling he'll probably get released, but even still, it's just an insane ordeal to put someone through, all for the crime of speaking out against Israel. So I don't know. Let's pop into the chat, see what you guys have to say. I don't know about that, man. This is being done for Zionists as far as foreign college students go. Elon Trump's team have been pretty pro H-1B and high-skilled immigrants. Yes. Well, it depends on what type of brownie you are. If you're a fucking dot on forehead, keep punching the fucking keyboard, they're all about you. But anyone that has opinions they don't like, then that's a different story. Yeah. And I did want to kind of take a second to, I kind of talk this on Already Dead. Between this and another story we're going to get into in a few minutes, and honestly, I guess between these two things and then, ironically enough, me watching Ian Carroll's appearance on Joe Rogan, there was a confluence of things there, data points that just came together. And I was like, dude, I am like, not that I've really been someone who's been looking at through this administration through rose-colored glasses. I'm just really like, this, like, I kind of been sympathetic somewhat to these people that are like a lot of us, and some of us probably even this chat. They're just like, oh my god, Doge or this, or oh great, oh look at what they're doing. Oh, Trump's doing this, Trump's doing that. Oh, that's so. But I don't just get to a certain point where like I think a lot of these like W's, these things that we chalk up as W's, are kind of, a lot of them kind of cheap. I mean, the USAID one was pretty fucking dope. I'll grant them that. But a lot of these are kind of cheap W's, and then when you look at the bigger picture, you're like, oh, we're actually in reality in this sector getting fucked. Like I always bring up the Doge example. You're like, they haven't hit 100 billion in savings yet; they've gone well over 100 billion in spendings. So it's like, oh, they're like, oh, cool, look at all these Doge savings. It's kind of like a pat on the head for a little kid, that kind of picking up nails on the construction site or whatever. Like, oh, that's cool. Look at you. And like, don't get me wrong, that's cool. It's great that money is being saved. But if you compare it to the spending, you're like, I don't know. At best, you're put in the situation. You're like, well, like if we look at the counter narrative, like the counter factual, like if we could reverse time and now it was Biden, like, well, I bet you he would probably have the additional spending and not cut. And you're like, well, maybe, or maybe he would just carry on as it was instead of increasing spending like you just did. We don't really know. I mean, you just get a level of cope where you're just like, I don't know. This is a lot of this feels performative. This like, oh, they're so great. And I think I've just kind of turned that corner where like, no, this is more the same. I'm, whatever hopium there was in me is kind of gone. I mean, I don't know. I'm hopeful good things will happen. We'll see. Maybe all our shit talking and being shitty will get through to these people, Yeah, I don't know. Between this and then the Massie thing, which we'll get into a bit, these two things, and then as I was saying, I talked about an Already Dead. There was actually it was like 4 separate things. It was ironically the context here was Ian Carroll was brought up at each one of these separate things, and then weirdly had this like pivot to where you're like somehow he found a way to cope about it, and you're like, what the fuck? And they were all Trump related things, like there's one cope that he has that he says he thinks Miriam Adelson and Trump are trying to do some sort of coup against Netanyahu, which I've granted that one's probably the most believable because it's like, I don't know, it's possible, and I mean I wouldn't be surprised if he gets thrown under the bus at some point. I don't see anything to support it. But anyways, the fact he took over Adnan Khashoggi's boat or yacht after which is known for being like being used for blackmail. Then on top of that, his Roy Cohn connections, which also then Ian Carroll then kind of like hand waved away. And then also on top of that, the fact that Epstein himself claimed that he introduced, if not straight up set up, Trump and Melania, and he's done this for a lot of other wealthy, well-to-do people or important people. And and that got the funny thing about that one was wild to me because then he goes, yeah, so I think that's Melania's been in his ear telling him like how bad this stuff really is, and you're like, that's what you got out of that. But anyways, between those 4 little data points about Trump and then also these two things, the First Amendment essentially and spending just kind of being overemphasized. Like this spending thing's kind of been a long time coming. We've already been talking about it. It's just that he then went to such a degree that he was like trying to throw Massie under the bus again, like a repeat of 2016, or not even 20, I don't know what year it was, but his first administration, where he threw Massie under the bus in a similar situation, and we're replaying it again, and overspending, because he wants to continue spending more. And Massie doesn't. Meanwhile, this is supposed to be the Doge administration. So, all right, that's enough ranting. Sorry, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know where my head's at. Why I'm kind of focused on these. Oh man, my hair just got weird. What is going on here? All right, let's roll through the chat, see what you guys have to say. I can't find a story, but the NYPD said he was suspected of being the ringleader of the people who took over the Columbia Library. Now, if that's the case, I'll take it back. But it doesn't seem to be what that's not even what the people from the White House are claiming. So, I mean, if that's the case, yeah, no, I mean, I get it. Okay, I mean, I feel like maybe depending on what he did, sending him out of the country kicking him out of the country might be overdoing it, given his situation, having a green card, kid, all that. But I mean, I'm far more open to the idea of it now. Like, okay, cool. So yeah, if that's the case, if he took over a library or did something where he was not supposed to do it like that, then okay, fine. Yeah, I get it. There are lines in protest, and it's like, just because you're like, I don't know. I don't think you just get to take over anywhere you want. And I don't know there's such a thing as private property. I don't know. It's hard because these are universities are technically public property, but this is where he gets into the tragedy of the commons. I also don't think that they should just be able to take over anywhere they want. So, nothing has come out about him except he has a master's degree, American wife, and talks shit about Israel is what Eddie Sato is saying. Let me see. First, off topic, but why am I still getting Sandy Hook promise ads? Are you guys getting Sandy Hook ads for this show? Because if so, that's phenomenal. Hell yeah, whatever. I'll take their money. Chubby hair. Oh yeah, I didn't even explain the thumbnail for today, guys. You guys see the thumbnail. You guys, if you follow me on Twitter, you saw I posted yesterday a little bit of an apology for the past couple days. For one, Monday, I didn't. What's today? Wednesday. So Monday, I didn't do the morning dump. I passed it off to Austin, but he had already kind of agreed to do an interview with William Ramsey, but so he kind of made it both, sort of, not really. It wasn't really a morning dump, but it streamed to both channels, so you guys can watch it. So that was Austin interviewing it. It's on my channel. It's on his channel. Go check it out. It's on his RSS feed. But then yesterday, I wasn't able to make it because one of my cats went into labor. So I was with Kitty. I tried to get Austin to take over. He wasn't able to. So, oh well. But we're back. We're back, baby. I made that, just jokingly yesterday when I made a post to let you guys know that I wasn't going to be able to make it. I used that, and so I just reused it today just because I thought it was kind of adorable. But yes, I got new babies in the house. I got new hairless babies. I'm going to go sit in there with them after this to make sure they're all feeding right. Yeah. What else did I want to say on that? There was some. Oh yeah, I also. Hey, let me know in the chat, guys. And any of you guys check out me and Austin's most recent tinfoil hat. It just dropped last night while we were on Already Dead last night. It dropped. So if this is your first time hearing it, it's out there. Go to Tinfoil Hat, Sam Tripoli's podcast. Go check it out. Most recent episode, me and Austin. All roads lead back to Gladio. It might still say Gladito because he misspelled it. But yeah, that was a fire episode. Let us know what you think of it. I thought it went really fucking dope. So yeah. Jose or Bobo says they're going to use the Doge dividends as a chip to make U.S. people pay or say okay and let it happen while we send money to foreign countries. Yeah, that is true. I do remember they were trying to sell it. The idea is like, oh, we'll return some of these savings to you. So I could almost see it as us getting a little greedy and be like, oh, okay. And then it just ends up being this like savings money return thing. Although that could backfire because then now you've created this incentive where we're like, we want more, give us more, make more cuts. And now they're like forced to cut more and this money's diverted back to us. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of it really in general. So, well, I mean, Doge. I mean, not Doge, but the idea of like of redispersing the money to the people. I mean, I know it is our money, but it is also kind of like, yeah, but this is money that's already stolen. No, just stop stealing it. That's all you need. You don't need this like giving it back. This because now you're just like you're muddying up this process. You're now continuing to give take stolen money and redistributing it amongst everybody. Like I get it. Like sure, theoretically, I guess all these savings could be evenly distributed, but even then, that doesn't. Not really, because those were taken not evenly from everybody. So. Point being is just stop. Just don't give us the money back. Just stop stealing the money. That's all you gotta do. But I mean, at the end of the day, if they give me money, I'm not gonna turn it away. Let me see. There was something I saw. I didn't blame the brown and blame the Jews. It's the same shit. Oh, by the way, I want to be clear. If I was just talking shit a second ago. If it came off like I was talking shit to you, Doug Torrey, that was not the case. I was more meaning. Just kind of that side, the royal they. It wasn't you meaning you. But he said, I didn't blame the brown and blame the Jews is the same shit. I care about culture, communism, revolution. Oh, I think he's talking to somebody else in the chat. Rise to Liberty says, regarding Ian, I find it odd how he arose so massively and quickly. But like everyone, I don't care about the person. I care about the info they put out. Is it legit? Is it disinfo? From my understanding, from what I've seen, he puts out solid info. So it is like, that's why it's like, I don't know. I mean, the only thing is like he does put out good info, but then he'll like kind of put these. It's the cope that I kind of pointed out. He does that. I think that's the biggest thing that stood out to me. I still kind of am not a big fan of the Fed jacketing because it is like it's not that strong, but I mean it is kind of like I don't know. There's certain things where you're like, dude, how do you know this much but you don't know that? But I mean, I don't know. There are ways people can do that. There are ways, as I was saying to Austin last night, it's like he said himself that he's kind of a newer guy, so maybe he's just devoured a lot of the primary sources, so he's not quite as jaded as the rest of us. So it's like he's devoured the primary sources, so he has the info, but he doesn't have the experience to the extent of like the demoralization that we have had, I guess. So to where he's still kind of like, well, I don't know, maybe Trump is kind of trying to help us out here. I think maybe he might still be stuck in that. It's a possibility. I mean, I brought up those 4 examples just a little bit ago that I thought were insane to be aware of those and then also have copes for every single one of them. You're like, dude, come on. But yeah, I mean, his information seems dope. So, I mean, I don't know. I'd love to have him on the show. He seems great. I mean, maybe I'm mischaracterizing things a little bit, but like maybe I'm misunderstanding him. So, but it does seem to be, there seems to be a lot of cope that comes from him. That's the biggest thing. But aside from that, I mean, it is like, if he is a controlled op, you're almost like, well, okay, cool, give me more of those, you idiots. If this is what you're giving us for controlled op, then like, okay, you should controlled op more. Wink, wink. Like, okay, like, I don't. It's just, I guess I struggle to miss the point. Aside from like, ushering people into like Trump's so cool. I guess it would be the only big thing. Which I guess that kind of is the thing now. So and then it gives this impression of they're kind of touching all like, oh look, we have Trump fans that even don't like Israel and are like skeptical about this and that and like kind of based. So that's the only thing I could think of. That, but I don't know. Doge is e-god backwards. Yeah. Let's call William Ramsey. Okay. Congrats on the cats. Thank you. See you guys in the chat. Jose, exactly. Don't give us some money. Pay the damn bills if we have to stay in a government. I'd be shocked if we get a dime. But I mean, yeah, and if we do get a dime, it will be to kind of keep us satiated, probably. So, all right, let's get into the next. Let's get to the next thing. Let me see. What do we got? All right, we got U.S. resuming military aid, intelligence sharing for Ukraine. Let's see. 1 second. Here we go. The U.S. lifted the pause after Ukraine said it was ready to accept a 30-day ceasefire if Russia agreed. The Trump administration has lifted its pause on military aid and intelligence sharing with Ukraine following talks between U.S. and Ukrainian officials in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. So just long and short, essentially that we resumed military aid and intelligence sharing. There was supposed to be a 30-day ceasefire, so they were open to it, and I guess that was enough for us to go, okay. So I guess it sounds like sort of the implication here is like, cool, we'll continue to give these things, which I guess you could kind of almost wrap your head around it in like because, we're going to ceasefire, now you provide military aid as like a buffer in case Russia doesn't follow up on their end. I mean, I would still prefer we just stop fucking giving these people money and saying fucking tough shit. Just get a ceasefire. I don't fucking care. You're not going to keep, stringing us along. We'll be involved, but, be around if that makes you feel better. But we're not doing anything. But anyways, Ukraine expressed readiness to accept the U.S. proposal to enact an immediate interim 30-day ceasefire, which can be extended by mutual agreement of the parties and which is subject to acceptance and concurrent implementation by the Russian Federation, the U.S. and Ukraine said in a joint statement. The U.S. will communicate to Russia that Russian reciprocity is the key to achieving peace. The United States will immediately lift the pause on intelligence sharing and resume security assistance to Ukraine, the statement added. Joint statement also said that both countries' presidents agreed to conclude as soon as possible a comprehensive agreement for developing Ukraine's critical mineral resources to expand Ukraine's economy and guarantee Ukraine's long-term prosperity and security. All right, blah, blah, blah. We don't really need to read all of this, but I mean, look, here you guys see here, you say the Ukrainian delegation today made something very clear that they share President Trump's vision for peace. U.S. National Security Advisor Mike Waltz said after the talks, he said the two sides gone into substantive details on how this war is going to permanently end, including the idea of long-term guarantees. Well, it looks like, it looks like things are moving in a good way, I think. I don't know if Zelensky, if he's really, I'm not seeing any negative stuff from things about Zelensky. So it looks like he's not digging his feet in against peace anymore. I think maybe the message has been received that they are, caught by the short and curlies to where they're kind of like, yo, we're fucked. I mean, like, we've been throwing out the idea of Zelensky, re-election multiple times, which, I mean, I think even if they do go into peace, he's going to have to do re-election anyways. But the idea is like, dude, he's just fucked either way. So it's like, they're gonna fucking oust him, I think, if he doesn't go along with this, is what it seems like at this point. And so he's you may as well go along with it and hope to get some sort of goodwill along the way, is what it seems like. That seems like the writing on the wall from him. That's my impression of this situation. So I know you guys, if you don't know what you guys' thoughts are, you guys can let me know. Here you go. Helper says, most people who become popular out of nowhere like Ian are connected. Perhaps he is. Yeah, I know that's a thing. I get that. I mean, people looking at it and seeing like, just looking pattern recognition wise, going, whoa, this dude blew up. I get it. If you look how this guy moved, the like how he like boom just blew up, you are like, holy shit. Like it's like this, it's nuts. So I get it. I understand why people, but like that in and of itself is not conclusive. That's a sole data point. He's also I know a lot of people say this all the time, but it's like he's a very likable guy. He really is. He's a handsome. He's got nice hair. He's got a nice face. He's got a nice mustache. He's tall. He's well spoken. He was a teacher. He's athletic. Like, I mean, he's kind of the perfect messenger for things. So it's like, yeah, okay, maybe I mean, maybe he is some sort of controlled op, but it's like he's also like the perfect little vessel of a messenger. So it's like, I don't know, it makes sense that like whatever message that's wrapped up in that is going to do well. So and it seems like he believes it. So I think that's why it goes far. So yeah, that's Ian blew up way too fast. That's the only reason he looks suspect. Yeah. So yo, chill, Jose, says Alan. He's mid tier. Okay. All right, I'm chill. What am I? I don't even know what am I even upset about. All right, let's get into the Massie stuff. Let's get into where this is man, you done fucked up, buddy. You done fucked up. You come after Massie, you fucked up. All right, let's go ahead and play this. So let's go ahead and play this.
Are you still? Yeah. Can you just talk to us? Are you still? No. Is there anything?
They convinced me in there. I'm a no.
Is there anything?
Look what, let me, their own numbers. If the Republican plan passes under the rosiest assumptions, which aren't even true, we're going to add $328 billion to the deficit this year. We're going to add $295 billion to the deficit the year after that, and $242 billion to the deficit after that, under the rosiest assumptions. Why would I vote for that?
So are you solidly a no?
Yeah, they convinced me. I was at lean no until this meeting. Now I'm a no.
This no confirmed.
This is
you're
a no.
Why? Why?
They're talking points. Look, these are not something I made up. This is the leadership's talking points. It adds $328 billion to the deficit. It adds $295 billion to the deficit the year after that.
This is your Doge administration.
The only way they get to this magic thing where it's not going to kill our country is 5 years from now, they imagine that 2.5% growth accumulates. And that even right here, they say they're going to cap discretionary spending. You think we're going to cap discretionary spending and then spend at the rate of inflation after that? That has never happened. So their assumptions are wrong, but even if you take their assumptions at face value, they told us in there they're going to increase the deficit in 2025 by $328 billion. And I've been here long enough. I've been here 12 years, so I've seen a 10-year plan or two come all the way to 10 years. Under Boehner, we had these 10-year plans. Under Ryan, we had these 10-year plans. Anything past the third year never happens.
Which is completely believable. Just like exactly what you would assume with any one of those things. So, this dude's on his shit. All right, let's. Here's another. He just before we started the stream, he tweeted this out. I thought this was worthwhile showing. It says these two propositions are not compatible. This is from Thomas Massie. We had to do a CR that extends Biden's spending levels to September because we don't have 60 Republicans in the Senate. We will pass conservative spending bills in September because we still don't have 60% of Republicans. There's not going to be an election between then and now and then. They're not going to have these things. So this is the cope that you're getting from a lot of people. Is like, oh, we need to pass this stuff now so that later we can pass other things. But the thing is, like, the dynamic's not going to change in any significant way between then and now. So the idea that you're like, oh, we need to kick the can down the road because we got to get this through now is bullshit, as it always fucking is, every single fucking time. The idea that, like, oh no, we can't do this now because something, if you, like, honestly, I haven't looked even enough into the political realities on the floor here. Like, what are the reasons that we're really, like, is there some sort of Democrat this or that? Like, at the end of the day, I don't fucking care. I don't care. Like, none of these Republicans should be voting on this. This is pathetic. I mean, yeah. All right, let's 1 second. I did see Alan Omofo says you were talking about how much you're attracted to him. Hey, he's a sexy dude. Okay, what can I say? I'm just kidding. I mean, he's an attractive guy though. Let's be real. I mean, there's no homo. He's a good looking dude. Here's Jacob saying he blew up, but he did state that he launched his TikTok with a planned strategy. If he is an op or not, doesn't matter if we are independently checking your information. Yep. Most people are scared to talk about the obvious spiritual war going on about everything. Yeah. I guess, yeah. Massie is the only statement we have. Yes, 100%. He's one of the only people not a government lizard. He's also open about Israel's stranglehold on America, and both Trump and AIPAC are committed to getting rid of him. Yes, it's for stuff like this. Best thing about the debt is no matter what they do, the empire is going to come to an end, either by choice or collapse. Yes, exactly. It's going to. So, I mean... Sorry, that was a sneeze. Sorry. Managed to mute it in time, though. All right. Jeez, that was a weird one. All right, sorry. All right, let's get back into this. Here's another story on the Massie side of things. This is shared by one of our audience members last night and already dead. Told them I'd read it today. And this is, it says, Israel lobby launches preemptive war on Thomas Massie. And this was written, about 8 days ago. It says 2 weeks ago, why am I having trouble with words today? Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell announced that he would not seek re-election in 2026. McConnell's announcement prompted Congressman Thomas Massie to share a poll asking his Twitter followers if he should run for McConnell's open Senate seat, seek the governorship in 2027, or remain in the House. Sorry, need a second there. All right, 1 second. Let's make sure you guys are looking at the same thing as me. All right. Naturally, Massie's followers were very enthusiastic about the former idea, but the prospect of a Senator Thomas Massie already has the Israel lobby on high alert. Republican Jewish Coalition CEO Matt Brooks told Jewish Insider, if Tom Massie chooses to enter the race for U.S. Senate in Kentucky, the RJC campaign budget to ensure he's defeated will be unlimited. Back in May 2023, Massie accused the RJC of taking the neocon position that U.S. taxpayers should fund the war in Ukraine. The RJC responded by attacking Massie for, among other things, opposing U.S. funding for the Iron Dome and voting against a resolution condemning the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement. I mean, both things that would be completely logical for him to be against. Meanwhile, Rabbi Shlomo Litvin of the Kentucky Jewish Council accused Massie of going out of his way to troll Jews. And Melanie Marin Pell of the American Jewish Committee suggested that Massie demonstrates outright hostility with the Jewish community, which is complete horseshit. I don't think I've ever heard him say a bad word ever about anything Jewish whatsoever. It should come as no surprise that the Israel lobby is doing everything in its power to torpedo any talk of a Thomas Massie Senate campaign. Massie is the only member of Congress who consistently opposes the ongoing wars in both Gaza and Ukraine. Shortly after the October 7th terrorist attack, Massie was the sole Republican congressman to vote against House Resolution 771, which reaffirmed the United States' commitment to Israel's security, urged full enforcement of U.S. sanctions against Iran, and declared that the U.S. stands ready to assist Israel with emergency resupply and other security, diplomatic, and intelligence support. In November 2023, he voted against House Resolution 6126, which provided Israel with $14.5 billion in military aid. In April 2024, he opposed House Resolutions 8034 and 8035, which allocated $95 billion in foreign aid to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and other Indo-Pacific allies. This was back in April. Man, that's fucking $95 billion. That's more than Doge has saved right there. That's funny. All right, Donald Trump declined to oppose that package, all but assuring its passage. In January 2025, Massie voted present on the Illegitimate Court Counteraction Act, in which would impose sanctions against any person who aids the ICC in its efforts to investigate, arrest, detail, or prosecute its Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant. Massie is keenly aware of the enormous power that the Israel lobby wields on Capitol Hill, and unlike other congressional Republicans, he is willing to publicly acknowledge the extent of its influence. During an interview with Tucker Carlson in June 2024, he noted that the American Israel Public Affairs Committee assigns handlers to every House Republican, that's AIPAC, by the way, dispatching them to influence how lawmakers vote. The previous month, the United Democracy Project, the super PAC affiliated with AIPAC, spent at least $300,000 on TV ads tying Massie to Iran, Hamas, and Hezbollah. Their efforts were in vain as Massie won his primary with 3/4 of the vote. So that's a 3/4 of the vote Massie gets, even with a full court press from AIPAC. So that's pretty fucking solid. Whether or not Massie can win a Senate primary remains to be seen. The only Republican candidate to have formally entered the race at this point is former Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, McConnell protege who lost the 2023 gubernatorial election. Cameron is already trying to distance himself from McConnell. He recently criticized the former leader of the Senate Republican Conference for opposing the confirmations of Pete Hegseth, Tulsi Gabbard, and RFK Jr., and he even signaled his opposition to further aid to Ukraine. But in November 2023, shortly after losing his bid for governor, Cameron joined 25 other Republican attorney generals in signing a letter urging Joe Biden and congressional leaders to provide military resources, intelligence, and humanitarian assistance to Israel as she defends herself against those seeking her destruction. Oh, surprise, surprise. Congressman Andy Barr may also launch a bid for McConnell's Senate seat. Barr believes that enemies of Israel are enemies of the United States. Just last month, he declares that he stands fully with Israel in its mission to wipe every last Hamas terrorist off the face of the earth. Given that AIPAC was a top contributor to his campaign committee in 2024, Barr's commitment to the Israeli cause is perfectly understandable. If he runs, Massie would be sure to receive an endorsement from Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, who was unfortunately proven incredibly disappointing on the Gaza front. In November, Paul voted against 3 resolutions intended to block $20 billion in weapon sales to Israel. In January, he backed the ICC sanctions bill. But a Trump endorsement will no doubt prove to be the most important variable in shaping the outcome of the race. While Massie's decision to endorse Ron DeSantis during the 2024 Republican presidential primaries may have hurt his standing with Trump, it is worth remembering that Trump offered former critic and one-time Evan McMullin supporter J.D. Vance his endorsement during the 2022 Ohio Senate primary, and the rest is history. I also vaguely recall, didn't he offer Massie some cabinet position or something? Or maybe that was just being thrown out there. I forget the specifics on that one. But yeah, I just wanted to take a second to hone in on the fact that, yeah, he did endorse DeSantis. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's some pettiness there. In December 2023, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer accused Massie of anti-Semitism after he shared a meme correctly noting that Congress is more interested in Zionism than American patriotism. Expect more attacks like those, this time from pro-Israel Republicans, should the 7-term congressman enter the race to succeed McConnell. Despite those challenges, there is no doubt that a Thomas Massie Senate campaign has the potential to steer U.S. foreign policy in a less insane direction. Well, I guess the whole point of this, obviously, after reading it, and why, I think why my audience member wanted me to read this is I think this kind of implies that it might be a bigger game going on here. He's eyeing the Senate after Mitch McConnell stepping out. This would put him possibly in the Senate with Rand Paul, giving them more of a united front, coming from the same state. So. I mean, that would be, because that would leave an open Senate seat, with Mitch McConnell gone. So there's some kind of political vying here. Obviously, a Trump endorsement means a lot. So kind of this pushing back against him. This could play in, there could be some political angles to be had here. Now, I don't know if this is really something these people thought about in the, doing this, but I'm sure this might be why they're reacting so harsh, because they're like, this is a guy who could move further and we need to rebuff him more. But I mean, it didn't work the last time they tried it, so I don't know why they think it would work this time. Here's Eddie Sato saying, it's always you have to put aside your principles this one last time for the greater good. Almost like creating disastrous scenarios benefits the powers that be 100%. What would be the political ramifications of him going from the House to the Senate? Is it harder to get more freedom votes in the Senate? Honestly, I don't know. Frankly, I'm not that kind of a political commentator to where I know too well the ins and outs of that. I don't know. Maybe if any of you political nerds out there know, I would assume maybe it's because as I mentioned, that we already have Rand Paul there, so now you have a I mean, maybe a Rand Paul and them, in the same state might make a big difference on things. I don't know, because now you have like a more united front from a specific state. That's the only thing I can really think of. But I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, Rand Paul, it just isn't his dad, and that makes me sad 100%. It's kind of sad to see what's going on there. What do you guys think is really going on in the Middle East? I mean, I don't know. I think this is all just fucking shell games for, pedophile elites, really. So that's all it comes down to if you really, really look deep at it. Senate terms are 6 years instead of 2 years. Okay, there you go. That too. So it'd be more of a longer appointment type thing. He'd be more of a thorn in their side, harder for them to get rid of. So, something to that. All right, let's see, what else do we want to get into now? All right, let's get into this one. This is from Doctory 420. He shared this. Doctory 420 said this, or sent this to us, or to me. This is Ken Silva. It's a good update for Morning Dump. This is the Gray Suit Man. This is Ken Silva. Said, R.E., the Gray Suit Man seen on the AGR rooftop after the July 13 Trump shooting in Butler. People believe he was from the ATF, mostly due to speculation from Senator Ron Johnson. I believe we talked a little bit about the Gray Man when I had Ken on last time. I definitely need to get him back on, probably even talk about a specific subject sometime soonish, because, there's still a lot of stuff going on here that I just kind of lost track on. But either way, I believe we talked about the Gray Man, the crux being that he might have been with the ATF. He says here, I believe the Gray Suit Man was actually from the DOJ, based on the fact that a police officer testified that the AUSA climbed on the roof, probably doing exactly what Senator Johnson told Maria Bartiromo on the below video. Okay, let me back up real quick to see for those, because I'm throwing a lot of words and you may not have got it. July 13 Trump shooting in Butler was the key thing there. For those who were maybe not picking up, I did say a lot there quickly. This is referring to the the first this ear gang shot, that one, the Butler shooting. I felt like I went over that stuff kind of quickly, so just want to back up. And there was a Gray Man in that situation that some people thought was ATF. All right, let's continue. Why hasn't anyone in government or anyone period really talked about the fact that the DOJ had someone at Butler inside the Secret Service Command Center, the same one run by the Buffalo SAC? Why isn't anyone trying to figure out that guy's identity? And all right, let's keep going. And I guess the quote tweet here is actually Maria Bartiromo saying a mystery man in a gray suit climbed on top of the structure. This is her talking to Hegseth. See if there's anything interesting there. Let's not watch that video. Who gives a fuck what Hegseth has to say about that? He had a black suit. Gray suit man was in the crowd, but never on the roof. So here you go here. Here's a photo of it. Different guy. Okay. What is this? What's the point? Did I lose thing? Okay. So I guess they're trying to say that this is a person on the roof. Okay, so they're saying the ATF guy climbed on the roof is the thing here. All right, so the idea that this gray suit man, and now that he's trying to say, I guess, unless I'm misunderstanding what Ken is saying here, I think he's saying that this guy right here is clearly not that guy. All right, I'm fucking lost. I'm sorry if this was it was not comprehensible. This is real raw reactions. I think I'm butchering what the fucking point of all this was. So the gray suit was from the DOJ, based on the fact the police officer testified the AUSA. All right, I probably should have read this one beforehand. Let's watch the video actually with Hegseth. Maybe we'll get some more context of what the fuck they're talking about here. Let's go and play it. She sounds like a Sesame Street character to me. All right. Okay, cool. So they just talked about the gray suit guy there. I mean, I don't think. So okay, I'm trying to see if there's anything. The guy in a gray suit walks to the ladder and goes up the roof, and this guy in the gray suit didn't appear to have credentials. That's the key thing here. Why isn't it talked about the fact that DOJ had someone at Butler? The same one run by. Okay, so I believe the gray suit was actually based on the fact that police officer testified that AUSA climbed on the roof, probably doing exactly what the fuck. I still don't understand what the heck an AUSA is, to be honest. I think I'm just not understanding the lingo here. Maybe I'm missing something. I'll check in with the chat and see what you guys have to say a second. If maybe you guys are understanding what I'm too retarded to get. Let's check in with the chat. Oh shit! There's no sound coming through the entire time. Are you guys kidding me? I'm sorry. Oh my god, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. I should have paid. Fucking StreamYard, dude. I'm right to be. Man, that's something. All right, you guys will have fun with that. You guys will have fun just being like, I'm not even going to bother doing that one again. There wasn't really anything pertinent in there. Man, that's wild. I can't believe crazy. This is still better than legacy media. So you guys just watch like a 2-minute video of me just going, yep, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, man. All right. Well, I'm sorry. Sorry for the audio listeners that you're going to have to go through this. You don't even get the video component of this. You just nothing. Yeah, I got the basics. Gray suit guy wasn't an ATF. He's likely DOJ, and nobody knows who he is, as the black suit guy was identified as an ATF agent. Okay, so, all right. So, but I totally saw a photo of a gray suit guy. You see here the gray suit guy. But I guess you just have the one photo, but then you see other photos later. There's another guy in a black suit, which I guess that's kind of this is the guy who was identified, I believe, is what they're saying. Is this guy was the guy who was identified as ATF. Because Pittsburgh ATSAIC. I'm assuming that maybe that stands for ATF something or other. AT. So I guess this fucking ginger faggot is ATF. So then we still don't know who this other fuck is. He's the creepy gray man, and he is, I guess, DOJ. So weird. All right, let's. So damn, dude, I can't believe I fucking failed y'all like that. I'm sorry. That's fucked up, guys. That is super fucked up. God damn it. So hey, man, I was making fun of the lady. You know what? Actually, I gotta go back and watch the video just because I did point out what a Muppet lady this was. You guys got to hear this broad talking. Tell me if you guys hear this now. You guys hear that? You guys hear that? Anything? I'll even try to. Man, that's bizarre. Stop screen. Actually, let me try this. A second. Boo. It wasn't even showing any audio. Yeah, it was weird. The audio option was gone on the bottom. Now let's try it. Let's try this. I just want to hear you guys so my making fun of her sounding like a Muppet really hits.
Send those pictures to this cell phone. And he gives them a number. And everybody assumed, well, that must be Secret Service. It turns out it wasn't Secret Service.
Some guy in a...
She has like the face of a Muppet too. Like, meow. All right, there you go. All right, that's that you think it should have worked. It's still not working? Are you guys fucking kidding me? Nothing. Still not working. Wow. Oh, there you go. Okay, now it works. All right, cool. There we go. So it's working. All right, that was bizarre. I had to literally completely take it down, remove it from screen, reshare it, and like it was working again. All right, I'm sorry, guys. You guys are having to deal with these technical difficulties. You guys sat through 2 minutes of nothingness. All right, let's move on to the next story. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry, guys. It was like I didn't even really understand what was going on with the story. Anyways, I was too lost in sauce, dealing with the technical difficulties of it. All right, here's Alex Rosen. He's saying the year is 2048. Donald Trump passed away in 2035. Barron Trump is about to enter his first term as president. The Epstein files are 2 weeks away from revealing it all. Life is good. The deep state is finally about to go down. This is providing commentary on this video with Helena Haba, which is that his lawyer? I believe that's his lawyer. Which, if that's the one I correctly, I believe she's clicked that her dad's like a super, like a tippy top of Knights of Malta type broad, because that was someone who came up when we had William Ramsey on. Yeah. So, but here you go. It says, "Holy shit!" Helena Haba confirms they are reviewing the Epstein docs and prosecutions are actually coming. It's a massive win for America. We'll release everything. We have Benny Johnson here. Obviously, the appointed administration flater through which they will release the information. Alina Haba is a counselor. Yep, the lawyer. I'm right. That's the one whose dad is like a super clicked up fucking Knights of Malta broad. So, yeah, you should always be a little bit concerned about her. All right, I'm going to play this. You guys let me know, like, ASAP if it's not working. I will pay attention to the chat. Let's go ahead and play this. Play Benny Johnson.
Just asked about this and where it's at. And I just want to say, I understand and hear the American people's, ask. And sometimes they mistakenly put it on me, and that's fine. I'm part of the administration. But I will say that I personally have checked in. They are going through it. You have to be patient, because when you are wanting to prosecute and actually do something with the information that you have to make sure that you save the integrity of the investigation so that we can bring these people to justice, so that we can hold grand juries, so that we can do certain things. You have to be careful. The value for the American people to know immediately would undercut, we have to do it. We have to expose it. And we're going to be transparent 100%. But we also have to make sure we're not putting any children in danger, putting any minors that don't want and do not deserve.
This is fucking horseshit. All right, this is absolute fucking... Wasn't it like Friday? I believe it was last Friday we were told. This is what we got last week. We got truckloads. Oh, we got truckloads of fucking... I'll be honest, I'm embarrassed. I stopped my campaign to... Because I had the daily tweets of like day whatever. I stopped on the day when the one guy resigned, and I shouldn't have. I knew it. I just knew it that was going through gum in the works, but I was just kind of like, I don't know. Someone did just get fired. But now I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Why did I stop? I should have kept going, dude, because it's like now I've just broke the string, broke the streak. It wouldn't make sense anymore. But yeah, this is ridiculous. This is just such a runaround at this point. Like, there's so many better ways this could be handled. Like, okay, sure, I'll grant her some benefit of the doubt here of like, oh, we need to make sure we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's and blah, 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 blah. Fucking put something out. It's all you had to do is put something that shows some sort of good faith. Like, hey, here's this document that proves Leslie Wexner was involved in, whatever the fuck, blah, 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 and this is information we haven't had before this or whatever. But like, that's not, I don't think that's in the cards for us. It's just that it's just so much more insulting. I would have rather just been nothing ever happened instead of this whole like something's going to happen and nothing happening. So, all right, let's keep playing.
To be publicly identified in danger, and making sure that we put forth the information that would still assist us in getting these individuals to justice. It's such a convoluted thing, but I will tell you, transparency is 100% coming. We did get a ton of documents. Pam's letter, I think, was directed towards the SDNY, that we now know the individual in charge there had directives to go in the FBI and said, be the resistance, do not turn over the documents. We have no tolerance for that. But I would just say to the American people, yes, they got the documents. Cash instructed those individuals that you must cooperate. One resigned, who was leading the charge in not cooperating. And now we have them. And
that motherfucker should be prosecuted. Like, that's the other thing. Like, you want goodwill, like, you should be, if you're saying there's FBI agents that are gumming up the works, that are obstructing justice. There should be people that are like very publicly being fired and thrown under the bus, and likely prosecutions happening, or at least the first stages of it, whatever that looks like. We've got one guy who resigned. Probably got an early pension.
We have to go through them. There is a very large amount of documents, I've been told. They are going through them. And I also, frankly, believe in transparency. We have to give the American people transparency. And we have been, frankly. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to wait a little bit to go through the documents. We are not machines. But I know that they are actively working.
They're like the largest. You're literally running the largest empire in the world. Like, you guys can get fucking some nerds to get out there to run through your fucking paperwork and realize, like, oh, here's some victims. We don't release their information. Oh, I can release all this. You guys, this is fucking stupid. This is just insulting to our intelligence at this point. It's honestly kind of very frustrating seeing this over and over and over and over again. This is I don't know. I'm just kidding. Yeah. All right, let's go through the chat, see what you guys have to say. See, Bubba said, I'm glad I'm married now, so trying to run through a dating pool. A lot of these dudes are very convincing. Okay. Look at what these homosexuals have done this time. Arrested Development, someone said. She's got them dead eyes. I don't know if you're done with this broad or the last one, but they both do. What she's saying is true if they plan on prosecuting, but it's also a very convenient bullshit narrative. I'm still on the side of nothing is coming ever. Yeah, no, she's correct in that you do need to be careful, but it's like, if they because they're like, oh, this was framed as like, hey, we really want to get prosecution, so we like really need to make sure we're doing everything like super serious and by the book. And you're like, okay, but like you could still release something, give us something, because it's like so far it's been weeks when it was supposed to be days, and we've got nothing but runarounds and kind of really pissed in our face. Really, that's really what has happened so far. We've been completely and utterly disrespected. Said we were going to get these Epstein files, and instead of getting these Epstein files, what we got was instead an incredible, full court press push against anything perceived as anti-Semitic. So, seems awfully convenient timing. So, let me see. See what else you guys have to say. All right. Benny is a pure grifter. He even steals taglines from other creators. Yeah, I'm not a fan of him. Why do so many need the government to release this list we already have? That's the other thing. Yeah, we don't need. That's the other thing. This is all just this is all theater. This is all unnecessary. Like, don't get me wrong. I want them. It'd be great if we release documents that aren't already out there to the public. But at the end of the day, none of those are necessary. Prosecutions could happen today. This whole like, oh, we need to be careful is nonsense. There is plenty of information out there to begin prosecutions. Maybe obviously you couldn't be able to get everybody with the information out there, but you could get some people. And that's a start. And from there, then you get people turning, and then you get more people. This is how it goes. This is all theater. None of this is necessary. Like, don't get me wrong. It'd be super fucking dope if they released all sorts of incriminating information against the people involved. Probably not going to, but it's also not necessary. But yeah, it's a sign of good faith if they did, but they won't. Yes, they haven't shown us any good faith whatsoever. So who would prosecute them if all the prosecutors are corrupt? Dennehy is hopefully just one of the many dominoes to fall. I don't know who Dennehy is, but yeah, I mean, you are correct. Who would prosecute them? I mean, there were a ton of people who died. Like we just talked about the other day, John Luke Burnell, who was Epstein's his modeling agency guy. How he died in prison while he was looking to probably be talked to about Epstein stuff. So a lot of people died around this stuff. Making sure this information never came out. So that the chance that's going to happen now, I don't know. Yeah, and you are correct. So it's like. I say also, I mean, there is also like, yeah, I guess the idea of disclosure would help with this concept. If you could actually get the administration to release this information, it would be able to get past this idea of prosecutors being corrupt. Because, yeah, you're right. We probably wouldn't. Yeah, while we do technically have the evidence out there to prosecute, I mean, finding a non-corrupt judiciary to handle that, good fucking luck. So, but now if you had the administration really make a huge push to release information, but now that's assuming that they're not corrupt as well, which, miss me with that gay shit. I'm not fucking stupid. But I don't know. It's really what a lot of this comes down to is just coping and, having hopium for whoever your given person is. Well, he's not corrupt. The rest are. So it listens to actions, not the politician's words, is what JMS says. I suspect we will get more arrests from the Diddy shit than Epstein. The dancing monkeys make better entertainment with no risk of collapsing the bank. My going theory is I think Ehud might get caught up in this because the fact Netanyahu threw him under the bus. It really depends. I don't know what plays are being made behind the scenes, but Netanyahu dropping Ehud's name, I'm like, yo, holy fucking shit. As we kind of talked about already, Dad. I was like, while I do make fun of Ian Carroll and like this whole idea of like, oh, maybe they have some sort of coup going against Netanyahu, him and Miriam Adelson. While I don't know if I necessarily believe that, it's possible, and if that was the case, this also could be a counter move by Netanyahu as kind of like to kind of win back favor, curry favor with the American people. Oh, and then throw one of his political enemies under the bus, and you're like, there you go. It kind of deals with that coup problem. It also could just be them trying to divert from their intelligence agencies. Oh, we refocus it elsewhere. We refocus it on Ehud and his contingent and his people. So we'll see. I don't know. And also it would be a smart move to subvert the anti-Israel people like myself. Then we go, oh, you guys say nothing ever comes, of them going after Israel. Look, here we go. We even have Netanyahu help them fighting against the deep state. Like I can see the framing already. So, O'Dennehy is the head of the FBI, the field office that was forced to resign. Oh, I didn't remember his name. Okay. Israel or Trump is saving Israel for last. Yeah, that was like the Q narrative going around recently, wasn't it? So, Trump's administration is born from the Clinton administration. No matter how you slice it, I don't trust it, but doesn't mean I can't use it. I agree action equals wisdom, or the putting of action to knowledge. What you do is 80% more important than what you think and say 100%. All right, let's get into another story. What else we got? I got two more stories. They're actually both Ken stories, surprisingly. Let's do the, I guess it's the namesake of the episode. So if I got to cut one, it makes sense to cut the other one. This is, let me make sure you guys are seeing what I'm seeing. Let me bring this up. Here's a special report publishing Whitmer kidnap plot, informant Steve Robeson's, CHS, which is what is a confidential human source file. So this is the informant in the big informant in the Whitmer kidnapping thing. So we're going to go through this. This was recently released by Radix, so I figured I'd help spread the info here. So this is note to readers. The following special report is reprinted with the permission of journalist Christina Urso, who is making a documentary about the FBI fomented the 2020 conspiracy to kidnap Michigan's governor. Find out more info about the documentary here. And this is Christina Urso. I said it's Ken, but this is technically actually Christina's just reposted via Ken's platform. I have decided to officially publish the CHS file of FBI informant Steve Robeson with Barry Croft Jr.'s handwritten notes on it. I obtained this file during the course of my investigation into the Governor Whitmer kidnap plot case and for my forthcoming documentary film Kidnap and Kill, an FBI terror plot. Credit to Thomas Leager, one of the Wisconsin targets in the Whitmer case, for helping me obtain the dossier. To my knowledge, this has never been published, nor has it been widely reported on. I have made reference to this in interviews, and now for the first time the public can read the file themselves. The document outlines Steve Robeson's activities as an FBI confidential human source and some of his involvement in the case. The defense lawyers attempted to call Robeson as a witness, but he invoked the Fifth Amendment, and the AUSA would not immunize him, which allowed the government to disown its most involved informant. I wrote about Robeson previously when he got a sweetheart deal in 2023 after the government lied and burned him as an informant, claiming he was a double agent for the defense. So the long and short here with him is it looks like the feds essentially burned him, likely because they're probably worried he would be kind of the one who blows up the whole plot, makes them look stupid. And so they, from my recollection of how the legal proceedings went, is they essentially threw him under the bus, likely to kind of save face. So that kind of became the, when things started coming out later of like, oh, how bad things were about this case, it kind of got off put on, oh, well, that was just kind of like a rogue agent, a rogue informant, which is kind of the game when it comes to these people, is that this is kind of the purpose of informants. It gives you distance. Like we've had Gleddy on you guys have seen the Gleddy, many of you have seen the Gleddy interview on my show, which was a guy who admitted he was an operative. And that was kind of the point. He would do these crazy things that feds weren't allowed to do. And he's just kind of, doing it as a private citizen, essentially. So that's kind of the same idea here. Yeah, let's keep moving. So they essentially burned him and so then it later became, oh, look at he's the guy who fucked this all up. It's not really the case. A number of things stand out from the file, including the fact that Assistant U.S. Attorney Nils Kessler gave Robeson OIA, otherwise illegal activity is what's called, to transport explosives to the Luther FTX when the AUSA in the Western District of Wisconsin wouldn't give him AOIA to possess firearms. So to otherwise illegal activity, essentially this is giving permission. This is a thing, which I actually learned from studying this case, is that informants have to essentially get permission to perform illegal activities, technically. So he did get it to transport explosives, but later they wouldn't give it to him to possess firearms. So it should be noted that CHS file is a CYA document, cover your ass, that doesn't include the full scope of Robeson's actions. Mr. Croft says all of CHS Robeson and his texts should have been in the discovery, but they weren't. The document admits Robeson was hired as an FBI source in October of 2019. As part of being brought in as an FBI asset, the document says that CHS Robeson was given access to an FBI database. Throughout the FD 1023 forms, FBI documents, Mr. Croft is referred to as the Baltimore target. Special Agent Christopher Long at the Baltimore field office initiated a full investigation on Barry in May of 2019 for conspiracy to injure or impede a federal law enforcement officer. As of the October 2019 hiring of Robeson, Croft had done nothing to warrant being formally charged with a crime. Robeson made contact with Croft online in December of 2019 for the first time. Agent Long was not CHS Robeson's handling agent, and Robeson was working out of the Milwaukee field office. Okay, so Long was not his handling agent, so Long doesn't even over him. And so Robeson made contact with him. So we're not entirely clear why he made contact with him, because Long was not his handling agent, but he did it anyways. So, and Croft had not done anything to be charged with a crime. So, kind of this is what's going on here. CHS Robeson was the first person involved in the Governor Whitmer kidnapping case that Barry met, and he would meet anyone else charged in the case until a meeting set up by Robeson on June 6, 2020 at the Drury Inn and Suites in Columbus, Ohio. CHS Robeson's first contact with Barry came via a private message on Facebook. Croft lived in Delaware and did not know Robeson or anyone who knew him. Robeson, also known as Roby, reached out feigning sympathy for a friend of Barry's who had just passed away. Well, that's kind of fucking fucked up, huh? Barry says he is certain that the database CHS Robeson had been given access to by the FBI was what triggered Robeson to make contact with him. Neither this database nor description of the basis or the database was ever provided in discovery or in evidence. Based on the language in the FD 1023 forms, it's more likely that this database was of desired targets of the FBI in which not enough evidence to charge these targets existed, so the FBI would direct a CHS with access to the database to make contact with the target and instigate the crime. This database was again referenced in a DOJ document seeking leniency for Robeson in a felon in possession case outlining services he provided the FBI in the Whitmer case, but the DOJ attorneys in the case did not include this database or description of it, despite it setting the whole case in motion. All right, well, that's wild. Okay, let's rehash that, because this kind of goes into what I was talking about a second ago, where I kind of honed in on. And I don't know if maybe I knew about this before, but this seems like newer information to me, or maybe it's just not clicking to me. And I'd heard it before. I just didn't really understand what I was hearing before. But we have, I kind of made a point to mention how this guy wasn't working for Agent Long, but this other guy initiated an investigation to Barry. This Agent Long guy initiated an investigation into him. He's not Robeson's handling agent. For some reason, Robeson decided to take this on. Now, what it says is it looks like it's likely due to a database. And this is based on the language in the FD 1023 forms. So if you look at the forms, it sounds like, if you kind of read between the lines, there's some sort of database that it looks like these informants have access to. And so these are ones in which not enough evidence to charge these targets exists. So they would direct the CH. So essentially, it's just a database that these people have access to. These informants have access to. They can just kind of open up and just kind of like almost like they're going through their friend requests on Facebook and go, oh, you kind of just go through and go, oh, I'll go target this guy. Okay, cool. So these people, they don't have enough evidence to charge, and so they essentially have a database that allows CHS to get sicked on, which is kind of fucking wild if you think about it. Like, how many of us out there are in a fucking database for some informant to just hop on? So it's not even like this is like this crazy targeted thing. It could just, it sounds like this literally can just be you get thrown in a database and just on some informant on a lark because they want to make a few bucks, because this is how this works. They make money off of convictions, and they decide to target you. It's not even any government oversight. Not that it would make it better, but like, Jesus, kind of wild world we're living in, huh? Robeson's CHS file also proves that former FBI Director Christopher Wray lied when he testified before Congress, and it proved the existence of Americans being targeted over religion, political prosecution, and patriotism. The CHS files lies about how Robeson became an informant and why. We now know, thanks to reporting The Intercept, that Roby was flagged under Operation Bronze Griffin. That is how he became an informant. The document makes reference to several targets. The Norfolk target is a man named Frank Butler, who Robeson tried to dupe into doing a plot to fly an explosives-laden drone to the North Carolina vacation home of Ralph Northam, the governor of Virginia at the time of the investigation. The Baltimore target is Barry Croft. The Wisconsin target is Brian Higgins. You can read the full document. You can read the document in full here. So here's the documents that we're referring to, so you guys can check this all out on your own if you want to be one to dig into these primary sources and check this shit out. But that's the end of that, and I think we might kind of go ahead and roll on out of here. I had one more story for you guys. I think I'll save that for tomorrow. We're going to go into, I think, talking about the Iranian plot on rehashing that again. But with that, guys, let's roll the chat, see what you guys have to say before I get out of here. Let me see if there's anything worthwhile. More PatCon. What were you referring to here? Okay, yeah, definitely. The Michigan stuff definitely would easily be considered PatCon, in my opinion. Screwed Up Texas, I highly doubt there will be prosecutions of elites, but I think many will disappear or self-deport and never be heard from again. Probably. What was it, 15 or 13 guys were alphabet agents? Yeah, something ridiculous. It was like more agents than it was people. So weird how Whitmer had a rebuttal to the state SOTUA State of the Union address air on CNN right before her abduction attempt. Yeah, you gotta capitalize on all that press. So, and did they even do anything or just planned it? They didn't even do anything. Like the planned it was planned by the informants basically, and they essentially gave really, really weak supporting evidence for the, like, for example, one of the guys they literally brought on a trip in the car to scout out the area, but I'm pretty sure he was stoned out of his mind. I don't think he was even driving. I think he might even have, there's more to the story, but essentially, like, they essentially put them in situations that were like, not even really close to saying, oh, they actually support this, and then use that as like, oh, see, they're totally about it. And you're like, no. Like, for example, the one guy that supposedly, I don't think he even knew they were supposed to be going out to go see Whitmer's cottage or whatever. They were like, scoping out her little vacation lake home or whatever. And I don't think he even knew to begin with. He was, I want to say, stoned. He wasn't driving, and if he was driving, they were directing him where to go. And so, yeah, it was just shit like that. They would then use to go, oh, look, they're clearly trying to plan, and they're going through all the actions. And it's like, no, They also they tried to entrap these guys like crazy. They brought this like guy called Red, who was an explosive expert, to come talk to them. And he offered them explosives, offered them, money cards, which even that wouldn't be illegal. They totally would have been able to get it. But the thing is, this is what they do: is they grant you favors, they give you stuff, then they use that to manipulate you to do this, do that. But no, the people weren't even accepting money cards from them. Like they were trying to give money away to these people, and they're like, "No, you're being weird," and trying to give explosives and shit. And those guys were like, "No." So yeah, it is a uniquely bizarre situation. It's one of those ones when you dig into the weeds on this, you're like, they did literally nothing. Like you assume there was something they did, but there was nothing. It's actually astounding, really. Let me just go through the chat. I'm certain I'm on lists. I don't do stupid crap. Yep. So I guarantee that all of us that watch are on one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're talking about the database that we might be on. That sounds like a video game character, Red, the explosive expert. Exactly, yeah. Which I believe this is the same guy who also got used. And I want to say he might even have also been called Red in this too. He also got, that informant, or no, that agent got found to be used in Antifa shit as well. Some Antifa ops, so... But all right, guys, let's go ahead and get out of here. I do want to remind you guys, if you want to support what we're doing. Oh, real quick, let's go check out toplobster.com. I do remind you guys can get my merch over at toplobster.com. Let me see. For those who aren't aware, you can get our sick merch over there now. Going over to go to brands, go to Already Dead. And then there you got, if you come down, we got Already Dead. We got our logo here, with the new updated one. We got the retro version of it. Operation Gladio shirts, No Way Jose, Terrence Yeeke and Kenneth tried to do shirts as well. So go check that stuff out for sure. Let them know you guys like it. Maybe we'll get more designs. If you guys buy more of those, we can get more of those. So, but yeah, if you guys want to support what we're doing over here, and if you can't chip in $1, I get it, but if that's the case, there's ways you can support without giving money. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe, you can comment, go leave a 5-star review if you're watching on Apple or Spotify. Those go a long way. They help out a bunch. But if you are able to chip in $1, then that does really help out a lot. I mean, cash is king, baby. Patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. At $2, gives you early access to episodes. I'm shooting for trying to do 2 a week these days. So instead of because what'll happen is I used to do 1 a week for you guys, and then sometimes I'm not able to knock it out and do 0 a week those weeks. Now we're doing 2 a week, and when I fuck up, I'll only do 1 a week. So we're winning, and then hopefully we can get to the point where we can start knocking out 2 for the public as well. So you get those early episodes. For example, I have a full false memory syndrome episode dropping on Friday. And then there's 2 of them behind the paywall right now, actually, and about to be a 3rd on Thursday, tomorrow. But yeah, you would get those already if you're a patron. And then you also get an ad-free RSS feed. You also can be a talking head on Already Dead, which is me and Austin's weekly call-in show on Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Also, my highest levels, my sponsors, I read them off every episode. My co-host on Tower Gang, at Tower Gang Toad. Also have at Abrogate D's, at ZOVERACK, at _Infantzeal. Tim Tuttle, at Jolly on Klebold, and Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine. Then Big Fan of the Show, Torn Mate, and then at INWARD Lover. And make sure to follow me on Twitter as well, at Tower Gang Jose. That's the best place to tag me if you want me to cover stuff on the show. I'm pretty responsive to you guys. I mean, that's honestly probably well over 50% of the content is usually you guys' stuff. So this really is you guys' show. So keep tagging me and stuff, and it'll keep on being your show. So you guys make it so I'm able to keep on doing daily stuff. Because, man, we were concerned when we were doing a daily show that we wouldn't be able to keep up, but not the case. Here's, before we're out of here, we got Jacob saying, spooks are really pushy. Try to inflate your ego. Will bend over backwards for you if it means they can trick you into doing something. 100%. All right. God bless and have a great day, y'all, too. You too, Screwed Up Texas. And with that, we are out of here. Deuces, guys. Love you all. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. And show up tonight for Tower Gang at 9/11 Eastern if that's your thing. If not, that's cool. Different strokes, different folks. With that, we're out of here. Deuces. Bye-bye.